Hey guys, what's up? Happy weekend. It's Jules Gill here for WhatCulture.com, joined as ever by the only spinning ball that I like to put my finger on, Scott Telford.
Good, that's a good thing for me to do on the weekend.
And you know what that means? If we're together, it's time for some weekend news. Brother, woo! Hit that jingle.
Hot dang, there's news, give it all you got. I guess it's time for Jules and Scott.
Oh,
good
yes.
Lord, on a weekend of all days.
I know, it's doing my spine as well because usually we're sat down. But you will need to be sat down because NBA 2K20 will have swept you off your feet recently with some, you might have seen it, lighting up forums and blog posts all around the world, and not for the right reasons, because that's right, the franchise yearly installment of the NBA series has come out with a new trailer, and it has not been well received.
New! So the whole thing happened earlier in this week where they put up the new trailer for NBA 2K20 with a whole bunch of really on-the-nose, ridiculous gambling type things.
Yes.
A wheel of fortune, a slot machine, a whole bunch of different zoom-ins on different loot boxes, and just fully on the nose. We're just embracing all the loot box controversy stuff, and that immediately was a massive controversy.
Now, this is the thing. Like 2K, they are not ones to shy away from the loot boxes.
Apparently.
And like the thing is, you would have thought that the publisher would have known with all of the bad press, with everything that EA's been through, with everything that all of these other people who've tried to reclassify what loot boxes are, that maybe the audiences might get a bit annoyed by having a loot box thing in their system and then actually putting slot machines, roulette wheels, in the background for it.
That's when it gets ridiculous, because those are little mini games. As I'll get to, the whole point of this video is because PEGI have been contacted about this, about how it affects the age rating for the game. Because obviously at the minute it's marketed as PEGI 3, which is assumedly pretty much for all ages.
Yes.
But obviously you have these sort of gambling mentalities, gambling philosophies in the game, which besides the fact that it's very egregiously going, here is a wheel of fortune, here is a slot machine, there's the wider sort of ramifications of introducing those sort of mechanics to extremely young players. So the initial trailer received about 16,000 downvotes. They then delisted it.
No, they've taken it off completely now.
Yes,
apparently,
apparently there's no way to watch it unless you view an archive version. I think they'll just re-edit it and put it back up again.
It was the My Team video, in case anyone can find it and re-upload it, because it would be a beautiful archival piece just to show the fallacies and mistakes of developers.
So it had a hell of a rough time, let's say, and they sort of moved away from it for a bit, and then a couple of people got in touch with PEGI and just said, look, how the hell is this not gambling? Why doesn't this affect the age rating and everything else? So the most recent sort of development for it is that PEGI have emailed someone back, and although that person is being kept anonymous, Eurogamer have been able to verify that it is from PEGI, and this is an official letter. An official email from them. It's the weekend, and so there's a few choice quotes as to this, because obviously if you're in their position, all they can analyze at this stage is the trailer. So a lot of the things in here sort of state look, we don't know what the full game's going to be like. We're just going to go off the trailer, and that's a lot of it centers on that. There's also the distinction between what gambling is, like I said before, as a mentality, as a philosophy, as a mindset to get into, versus the realities of wagering money and getting different amounts back. That seems to be what they hinge it on. So there's a couple of different quotes from them, which I'm going to have to edit around, because give you a minute. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
No edits are in this. I'm editing this.
Yes.
And I choose not to. I say no to
in that case, I'm going to dance through.
Find your quotes.
You just wait. This is a look into the realities of making the news. So I'm going to go back into a fresh take now.
No, we're not.
Well, I'm going to do it. We'll just leave it in. And then they can see what it would have been.
Go for it. Go on.
I want to go, don't I? But you won't let me go. I'm going to do a thing. So the thing that they said is that they're having an internal discussion, which is a thing obviously still ongoing inside PEGI's walls as to the realities of what NBA will turn into. That's one thing to sort of take away, is that it's not a definitive thing yet. But also they said that no, I'm just going to read it. I'm trying to read it without holding my phone up.
Just get your phone. I always have my notes up because it's fine.
It's not fine. They don't want to see us reading the phone.
Yeah, they do.
No.
Yeah, they do.
Fourth wall. What did I write down? I wrote down there's an internal discussion going on. The only reference is the trailer, and then I wrote down it's nuts, which is good. And then Oh yeah, okay. So the whole thing with this is that I'm just going to read this now.
Do it.
If you want the raw news,
do it.
For PEGI, for them to label something as gambling, they have to make the distinction between, and this is their quote, gambling as a label to them refers to types of betting or gambling for money that is normally played / carried out in casinos, gambling halls, or racetracks. This does not cover games where betting or gambling is simply part of the general storyline. The game must actually teach the player how to gamble or bet, and or encourage the player to want to gamble or bet for money in real life. That's the extremely crux thing.
Right, no, that is so specific.
One more thing, one take, Jules.
Go on then.
Oh, they also say this may get too close to comfort for some people.
Right, that is so specific. So basically what they're saying is that they will not take action unless there is a game literally out there called something like All-Stars Poker Online that allows you to literally play with money and teaches you how to play it. In fact, even if there isn't a tutorial, by their standards, that means that they can't change the age rating because it doesn't teach you how to play it. It goes in with an assumed knowledge.
Yeah.
That is absolute Billy Bull. That is absolute bull.
Don't swear on the video because
No,
then you've got to
I'm
edit it.
editing it. I don't mind.
Put a nice little sound effect in.
I won't even edit it out. I'm just going to keep it in.
No, because then YouTube won't like it, and then we can't spread the good word.
But this is the thing. It's a huge problem because I feel like that is such a restrictive definition. But yet there is so many games that do encourage gambling. They do this. They're basically saying that in 2 games, right?
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption 2 online, right?
Okay.
And then you've got NBA 2K20.
Okay.
They're saying by their definition that Red Dead Redemption 2 online is closer to gambling because it has a poker game in it that you can actually wager money in.
And you would teach you how to do it,
Than the game that actively says, hey, chuck some money, some actual real life money at that.
So I think the another distinction in terms of the gameplay is that the things that you're wagering, quote unquote, in these little mini games in the Wheel of Fortune and the slot machine, they're tokens that you can accrue in the game.
Yes, but this is the thing. We've already been. I'm sorry, I'm getting annoyed because it's a conversation we've had until I've been blue in the face. Tokens are bought with real life money.
Well, I don't know if these ones are, Jules, because they've got a whole separate loot box system. I think it's a separate thing.
But they always talk about having an in-game currency.
Yes.
This will definitely be an in-game currency, and even if you can win these Wumpa coins in loot boxes,
Remember last time we did this?
which I'm sure you can, it will be real life money that can be used to buy it.
I'm going to read another quote now.
Go on then.
I'm going to read another quote. They said, it's important to stress that the controversial imagery played a central role in the trailer, but it may not necessarily do so in the game, which has not yet been released.
So what they're saying is that classic thing that a lot of trailers try to get past people, which is that little thing at the bottom that just says, footage may not be representative of actual gameplay. Now that is a statement, wherever I see that, I'm just like, I'm not getting the experience I pay for.
Usually that refers to sort of a breathing room on the developer side, like maybe they need to change renders.
And stuff like
that.
Yeah,
totally. And so I think, but in this case, I think that's more on PEGI's side. They're saying that as far as they're concerned, what they've been shown is the trailer. Assumedly they look into specific builds of the game and whatever. And I think that I would assume that it'll be a different distinction made going forward. Like, they said they have the internal conversation that's happening. So maybe it'll change.
The thing to remember in all of this, if ever you get annoyed about the ratings on PEGI's system, like how they do it and all those things, is remember this. The classification board for video games was made in response by the video game industry themselves to protect themselves. It was never done with your best interest at heart. It was done to protect them from falling foul of actual laws. Remember that. It came in with the introduction of Mortal Kombat.
Oh, you mean the ESRB?
Yep.
That was
the age ratings that then went on to form the PEGI system as well. Literally, you've got to remember that.
Okay, that's like a separate, because
it's a separate discussion, I know.
Yeah, that helped sort of legitimize gaming in a different way, but I think that obviously over time there is a way for them to sort of fall back on these very specific distinctions. In 2K, the thing is, when the GTA Online casino came out, it was like, okay, well, there's this very specific distinction between wagering real money in real time on these slot machines and different mechanisms inside a casino versus the shark card currency or the fake currency, and they kind of get around the loophole that way. And it's the same thing in this, where it's like, oh well, actually, if we break down the distinction, you're not actually wagering real money in real time. It's these different fake coins, it's these fake tokens. My problem with it is that it's still the same gambling philosophy. It's the gambling mentality. So it is still teaching people how to do stuff.
You're basically just saying, like, it doesn't matter if you're playing. In fact, it devalues a person's real life experience. If I go in there thinking, these coins aren't worth anything, they don't have a tangible value, or I understand their worth, I'm going to spend more of them. What's to stop you from taking that mentality out into the real world and just saying, like, I don't understand the value of my own currency because I don't see it. My bank card doesn't. I don't take out money. I use a contactless swipe card thing. I don't feel it going out of my account.
So that would kind of that plays into all that stuff where you read those horror stories about like certain people have spent like £3,000 in one go because their credit card was attached to like a certain game mechanic. It's much easier to just click a button digitally than it is to actually keep putting money down, and that only spirals over time. I think that as much as I'm not going to do the whole won't somebody think of the children, oh my god, but it is such a legitimate issue. It wouldn't have so much distaste surrounding it, and they know exactly what they're doing as well. It's the most on the nose, knock you out style thing. They know exactly what they're doing.
I think that the thing that really bothers me outside of this whole sort of wider bubble is the fact that it was a trailer that was put up with the gall to advertise these loot boxes as a selling feature.
Yeah.
I don't think that I have yet seen a video game that stood so brazenly out there, dick in the wind, and just started pissing over itself and just saying, this is actually great. How refreshing is it to lick my own piss?
On a weekend. They, I mean, that's the whole thing with EA. They're all like, oh, it's the surprise mechanics, and oh, people actually really like these things. But I don't know anybody who actively enjoys these things. I know that Rage, bless her soul, gets a bit stuck into the microtransactions, even though we pull her back from them as much as we can. But she tends to buy stuff where she knows what it's going to be, as opposed to gambling stuff. I
can't imagine anyone would sit there just thinking, oh, you know what I love? I love not knowing what I'm going to buy in this. And that's fine if you can go to like Magic the Gathering cards. We always do that sort of thing, and you do know that. But you know you're getting like a finite set.
It has some sort of worth.
Yeah, whereas this is just kind of like, you feel like, how is it satisfying to sit there going, didn't get the one I want, didn't get the one I want, didn't get the one I want.
Well, it's because that's a whole separate thing, but like that, it builds on the idea that when you do get something, that satisfaction is so much greater.
I wouldn't even be like, I'd just be like,
oh, finally.
Thank God.
I mean, that's the thing. You would like to assume that more people can recognize that and recognize that they're not being taken advantage of. But it is all in the specifics of how often things pay out. I mean, that's what casinos and gambling mentalities. That's why that industry makes so much money. But it's annoyingly intrinsically linked with the modern day video game industry. And that just sucks because it's, like I said, it's so brazenly obvious. Someone like Jim Sterling, who's been campaigning against this stuff for years, just watching his reaction to this trailer where he's like, there it is. That's the straight up gambling mechanic right there.
He's like flabbergasted as he's talking about it. And like, honestly, if you've not watched his videos on this stuff, it's amazing. Like, he breaks it down so well. But there we go. Speaking of breakdowns, let's wind down and go off and enjoy our weekend.
It's true.
And by that, I mean that Scott gets to go home while I get to do a 7-hour pay-per-view stream for the Wrestling Channel, baby.
I'm going to go home, drink beer, and play Control.
NXT in New Japan. Check it out on the Wrestling Channel.
I'm going to throw tables at all the gods. I'm going to fly, and I'm going to pick up a ball, and I'm going to smash someone else with it.
Which weekend would you rather have? There we go. If you want to follow me, you can do so at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. And
I'm at /LP89.
You are damn right he is. You have been awesome. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.